Welcome to the Commercial Real Estate Show, your source for market intelligence, forecasts, and success strategies. Hello, I'm Michael Bull. Thanks for joining us on one of the radio stations around the country, or maybe you're watching us on YouTube, the show website, or iTunes. Thanks for being with us. Well, our show today is Tomorrow's Technology Today. We're going to talk about technology. We're going to talk about big data. We're going to talk about mobile. We're going to talk about virtual reality. We're going to talk about CRM and operational systems. And we're going to talk about some really cool marketing technology that you do want to know about. Please welcome my first guest. It's Todd Kuhlmann. He's president and CEO of CRE Tech, Inc. Todd is also a CCIM instructor, so he has a great view of the commercial real estate market. He's joining us on Skype. Todd, thanks for being with us.
Thanks, Michael. Great to be here.
Well, we appreciate it. And I have to ask you this, about your car tag.
Oh, no.
Are you still the app man?
My license plate still says App Man, so I've got certain people around Austin, Texas, following me around. I'm not quite sure why.
Okay, don't say that 3 times fast, right?
Yeah, you don't want to get the wrong connotation when it comes to the App Man.
Right. So we have the App Man, but before we talk about technology and apps, you also look at the commercial real estate market through your commercial real estate eyes and your CCIM instructor eyes, and there's a lot of technology companies that are out there. In commercial real estate and all types of technology that lease a lot of office space. So what should we expect moving forward with the demand from those types of tenants?
Oh, that's a great question. We're seeing and we're watching real closely some of these indicators. And I always used to tell people, I know you know this, Michael, but I'll tell some of your viewers, we did commercial real estate finance, Wall Street finance for 14 years through a previous company of mine. And through doing that, I'd always tell people, watch and follow the money. Where's the money headed? Where's the money going? And that's what I'm doing today, is I'm following and watching the money very carefully and very closely. Specifically when it comes to the money going to tech companies, whether it be through private equity or whether it be through venture capital and rounds of seed financing for these different tech companies. So you take places like Atlanta, you take places like Austin, places all over the world. It doesn't matter if I'm in Shanghai, Beijing, or here at home. What we're seeing is tremendous amount of office demand from technology companies. So when doing so, you want to see where that demand's coming from. You got to keep a pulse on that. And the wonderful thing is I kind of straddled 2 different industries, the commercial real estate industry, as you know, as well as the technology industry. And I think it's important that all commercial real estate practitioners right now start following very closely the technology sector, not only for their own technology needs, but also on how companies are doing, how they're getting their money, where they're getting their money from, and follow that money. So the more we follow the money, we'll start seeing the demand changes. And that's some of the first indicators that we may see on the market demand for especially office. Yeah,
well, those are some good points. And with your view from commercial real estate, CCIM instructor, also in technology you're so heavily involved in, what would you tell our listeners and viewers who are related to the commercial real estate industry in some way about the cloud? It's some people it's mysterious, but we need it, we want it. What should we know?
What's interesting is we started our company 6 years ago, and we started it on the cloud. But the interesting thing about it is now the cloud's starting to become this buzzword out there, and other people are starting to pick up and understand that this cloud is something important. And a cloud is basically a server, but it's a remote server. For instance, we use Amazon Web Services as our servers. That becomes our cloud. It's always on. It's always available. It's always connected through high-speed internet so that anyone can access that data and that information from any device and anywhere in the world, versus having, let's say, a standalone server that I have to maintain, a standalone server that if it goes down or my internet goes down, then you're not going to have access to that information. and also versus having a program you physically install on a computer. You're seeing all these tech companies now moving toward what we call the SaaS model, or software as a service model, as opposed to putting an old floppy disk in your hard drive and installing a program, or now even downloading a program and installing it on your computer. You're logging in through a web-based application or a mobile application to access that, and that's the cloud. And you want to make sure that the software you're using is cloud-based software.
Yeah, that makes sense. And you mentioned mobile, and mobile use is just huge, right? Everyone has a cell phone, or some people have two, like even Hillary running for president, she had 2 or 3. But so you really have to make sure that your technology works well on a phone today, don't you?
You do. You need to make sure, and we've been saying this for quite some time. We had Mobilegeddon about a year ago, and Mobilegeddon is basically where Google came out and said, if your website is not mobile responsive, if you don't have a mobile responsive website, we're not even going to show you in the search results when somebody's searching on a mobile device. So if they're on an iPhone, iPad, Android device searching Mobilegeddon, and this happened a year ago, so this is not new news, but it may be new news because I go onto a lot of websites that are not mobile responsive today. You're not even going to show up in Google search results, and so that SEO just goes to zero.
Yeah, and that's interesting. I know a lot of our listeners and viewers are going to know what mobile responsive is, but please share with someone that might be just driving down the road and tuning in here.
Yeah, fantastic. So, and it is basically what it sounds like. A mobile responsive basically says that website's going to respond based on the device you're viewing it on. So if you're viewing it on your computer, that website's going to take up that computer screen. It's going to fill up that screen on your computer. But if you're viewing it on your phone or a smaller device, mobile device, then what happens is that website responds to the size of that screen. And instead of scrolling back and forth horizontally, you'll just scroll up and down. It'll change the menu buttons and it'll change the different features of the site. If you're not sure if your site is a mobile responsive site, there's a really easy way to do it. If you're on your computer, just take your browser and narrow it down like you would the size of your phone, and that'll tell you, does it respond to the size of the phone or the size of the browser as you scroll, as you minimize that window? Does it change so that you're not scrolling horizontally back and forth on that site?
Yeah, and that's very interesting. Our show website, commercialrealestateshow.com, is mobile responsive, and you're right, it looks totally different on a computer than it does on your phone, and it works well. I've also been on some mobile responsive sites on my phone where I didn't really like it. It didn't seem to have enough going on. And then I've been on some that I didn't like, and then had an option to go back to the big site. Is that something someone might want to have on their site, or do you really need it today?
I've been on those same sites, Michael, where you can't do some functionality that you want to do on that site on the mobile version, but you can only do it on the full version. And it's kind of cumbersome to kind of go back and forth between the two of them, because you want a mobile site that is designed for mobile. So when you're designing your site, look at it, make it for the computer. Use it on all the different browsers. All the main browsers are out there, Firefox and Safari and Chrome and Edge. But also look at it on your mobile device and make sure all those functions that are important to your clients work on that device. If you're wanting to search listings on your device, go in there, search for those, see how they respond, see what they do on your mobile device as well.
And good tip. And while we have you, Todd, what's coming down the pike? What should we think about for mobile use, for technology, for virtual reality? Seems like there's a ton of technology in the commercial real estate industry being created. What's next?
I was having a great conversation with somebody in the commercial real estate sector, and you're starting to hear so much more about CRE technologies. We're very fortunate to have registered our name before all this happened with CRE Tech, because it seems like that's the buzzword now. That's the fad. I hope it's not a fad, but it seems like that's the fad right now. But we're really on CRE Tech version 10 right now. We're not on version 1 or version 2. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of companies that have been around for quite a while providing technology for commercial real estate. You're seeing a lot of companies enter this market thinking this is a massive market, thinking that this is a great opportunity for technology in commercial real estate. But as you know, Michael, we have a very close, tight network within commercial real estate. We're not the million-plus members like NAR has on the residential side. So technology and getting a technology converted from residential to commercial is much more difficult type situation when we only have a couple of 100,000 and even less than a couple 100,000 full-time practitioners.
Yeah, that's a big part of the story. I think it's such a small market compared to residential, but I guess residential's had their technology created, and now everybody thinks that the commercial real estate is next, right? And there's a lot of opportunity there. It seems like there's so many technology companies out there that there's got to be some that fail. Or several.
Well, I believe we're on version 10 of CRE Tech. There's been a lot of great companies, been around for a great long time. We've been around for 6 years now with a lot of great clients and really following the fundamentals of business. And it's no different than any business, no different than your business. You're not going to expand or grow beyond your means. And I think that's the main thing is don't grow and expand. Have great clients, treat your clients great, and you'll do great in this business, but it is a relationship-oriented business.
Right. All right, you guys, you heard the app man. You heard it here on the Commercial Real Estate Show. Todd Kuhlmann, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Michael.
All right, stay tuned. We'll have more on tomorrow's technology. Today, this is the Commercial Real Estate Show. Hey there, thanks for checking out the Commercial Real Estate Show. Don't miss a video of special interest to you. Be sure to subscribe below. And if you appreciate the videos, be sure and thank our sponsors. There's a link to more information about them in the description. For more videos, podcasts, and articles, check out CREshow.com.